play from the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and today.
How's everybody doing today? Welcome to another edition of the Oldies Show. That's right, we're doing a classic rock edition today for a couple reasons. One of those being that one of my bands that I was very, very excited about being, that defined a lot of my teenage years, would be KISS. And of course, Ace Frehley passed away on, I believe it was Friday, depending on when you're listening to this show, but mid-October. And also, for those of you that are listening maybe on our Friends Back to Beach Radio or something, you may not know this band, but I think everybody knows this band. Triumph was inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I'm a big Triumph fan. So we're celebrating those two, and we're mixing in some others, like my favorite there from Bob Seger. Bob Seger and Silver Bullet Band with Old Time Rock and Roll. And you know, I learned to walk this way from this group. That's right. Back in the 70s, you could have a 7-minute song and it was okay. Nowadays, it's got to be 2 minutes because it's only got beats in it or whatever. Anyway, I love that one. That's Rock and Roll Machine. They certainly were a rock and roll machine back in the day. And I was a drummer at that age back in 76. I would have been 13 years old. I was right in the heart of doing my being a drummer. That is all we listened to back then, that and KISS. And I got to tell you, Gilmore, who's the drummer for, so you got Mike Levine, Rick Emmett, and Gilmore. Gilmore was the drummer. Double bass drum set. Just rocked it out. As you can hear, the beats in that song just went crazy. Rick Emmett with his double guitar back in the day, jumping around in his leotards and all of that. And then Mike Levine looking like a biker who just came in off the side road, doing his thing. Quite interesting organization that they had. I'll tell you a little bit about that in a minute. But one of their biggest songs, well, all of their songs were big, right? They had so many good ones. Hold On, Follow Your Heart, Lay It on the Line, Magic Power, all that kind of stuff. But this one here was actually written by Joe Walsh and was one of their biggest hits as well. And this one's called Rocky Mountain Way, one of my favorites. Such a good song for sure. Hey, you know, I had the pleasure of meeting Mr. Rick Emmett. He was doing a book signing in Burlington here not too long ago. Well, probably the end of last year, I guess. And I went over to meet him. It was at our public library, and it was free. Two great reasons to go over there and meet Mr. Rick Emmett, as he's one of my big time, you know, I was a big fan of his for sure, so I think that was pretty cool. And and he did this book called Lay It on the Line, which I bought 3 books. I actually gave a couple to friends and kept one. Interesting story about the makeup of the band, and Rick was kind of hired just to write songs, and he became kind of the big part of the band, and he left the band in the 80s to follow a solo career, and he lives here in Burlington, Ontario, right where I live. So you know, he when I was listening to some of his story, you know, some of the schools he went to and all that kind of stuff were really instrumental. So really very cool to see him. I did a whole show on it. So if you want to go and check out the In the Studio show on our station there, you can go and find it. It's called Lay It on the Line Highlights. I go through the book, play some music from Triumph, all that kind of stuff. So you can go and check that out there for sure. But this one here is one of the songs that he wrote that is actually the title of the book. And here we go with Lay It on the Line. If you want to go and check out, talk about that, Rick's book, go check out Lay It on the Line. His songs became anthems for those of us to, you know, fight the good fight and follow your heart. They became positive anthems, which is what he was looking for. We're going to go out with one more by Triumph, and then we're going to talk a little bit about Mr. KISS and Ace Frehley. Here's Follow Your Heart. There you go, a little Follow Your Heart by Triumph. I'm not sure what I said before. If I said Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, they just got inducted to the Canadian Songwriters Hall of Fame, which is here in Canada, so I'm not sure what I said before. Don't want to get any email. Anyway, you're listening to The Oldies Show. I'm your host, Bruce Outridge. Hope you're having a good day, whatever you're doing. And we just celebrated Triumph. We're going to move on now to KISS and Ace Frehley. Ace Frehley passed away recently, and he was one of the founding members of KISS. I was a big KISS fan. Started following them back in 70s when they started. Saw them live in 79, the original 4. Have seen them a couple times over the years, and really enjoyed them. And so we're going to talk a little bit about them, but let's start off with one of theirs, God Gave Rock and Roll to. We're doing a classic rock edition of the Oldies Show today. You're having a good one. There you go. A little Kiss, God Gave Rock and Roll to You. I like that one. That one's after kind of later in their career. One of the first ones that I think Kiss, whatever you think of Kiss, because they're not known for being the most elaborate music writers. Their music is, but they had some good anthems out there. They had a great show, great performance. They were one of the first ones to come out with the makeup and all that kind of stuff, and they developed that over the years. And no matter what you think of them, you have to realize and appreciate that the money machine that was made and the marketing machine that was able to do. Remember back in the 80s when it was that whole, you couldn't see their whole face, and Gene was dating Cher and all that kind of stuff went on. It was just it was quite a thing. I remember doing this song. This is one of their first songs that they came out with, and I remember I was in grade 8. I was graduating grade 8, and they decided to have a lip sync contest, and I did this song. Now, if I was really smart, I wasn't thinking about it because, your first graduation, well, some of us, our only graduation, you're nervous, right? And you're dressing up, and your parents are telling you to dress up and all this kind of, and it's like a school dance and all that. So they had this like mini competition for lip sync to start with. My friend Rui, who was a big Elvis fan at the time, he did Elvis, and he didn't wear the suit, but he like did the collar and all that. And so he won. He did a really good job. I did air guitar. I think I borrowed somebody's guitar, but I was still dressed in a suit, which Kiss back in the day was not dressed like that. But here's the one that I did on stage, and probably one of their biggest ones, which spawned a movie and all kinds of stuff. Here's Detroit Rock City.
You wanted the best, and you got the best. The hottest band in the world, Kiss!
Oh, that's such a good song, Detroit Rock City, for sure. They were inspirational to so many people in different genres. If you, I'm sure you know Garth Brooks of the country genre. A lot of his stage show was inspired because he was a Kiss fan. And he did this song, Hard Luck Woman, which I'm sure you'll recognize. That's off an album called Kiss My Ass, if you want to know about that. And that album is actually a bunch of Kiss covers done by other people, which is kind of funny. So, you know what? Ace Frehley, 1951 to 2025, 74 years of age, one of the founding members of Kiss. As you know, it was Paul Stanley, Gene Simmons, Ace Frehley, and Peter Criss were the 4 originals. He was known as the Spaceman. If you ever saw him do his guitar solo on stage, fire would be coming out of the end of his guitar, and he was really always in smoke and in space and all theatrical and all that kind of stuff. That was his signature thing. And we're going to get into some of Ace's specific stuff, but he was on a couple songs, and Rock and Roll All Night was one of their big ones. Oh, there you go, a little Kiss Live. That's right. That's probably one of my favorite albums, Kiss Alive 2. It's the one they put out. Of course, Love Gun and all that was there. Ace Frehley, for those of you who didn't know, was actually the one who created the S symbols, like the lightning bolts. That was his idea. Started with the band in 73 and was on for Destroyer. He actually wrote Cold Gin, and he was on Shock Me. He was the lead singer for that, for sure. And then he started his own career doing some stuff. He had a rough life. It was not pretty. He was as a lot of them are, he was hooked on some drugs and hooked on other things. And he did a song called 10,000 Volts. And oh, there you go, little Ace Frehley, 10,000 Volts. Of course, he left the band and started touring on his own into the 2000s, so that was very cool. He's got a number of songs out, Without You, I'm Nothing, 10,000 Volts. He had New York Groove, back in the New York Groove Live, and Rip It Out. So lots of touching testimonials. I've been sharing some of them on our Facebook page if you want to check them out from different people in the industry. One very touching one from Alice Cooper, who apparently was touring with him a lot. I didn't realize that relationship. But you know what? A lot of from his KISS bandmates, which I knew there was a lot of infighting there within the band. But I think a lot of bands are like that. But at the end of the day, they all respected him, and his guitar chops certainly were really good. So very good, Ace. We're gonna play one here. This one here I want to play by Def Leppard. Def Leppard, they were good friends as well with Ace Frehley of KISS. And so here's one, Pour Some Sugar on Me.